Shateka Husser here, CEO of Shateka Husser Financial Services. And I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how it is I became the CEO of Shateka Husser Financial Services. It started out really when I was a young lady, literally jumping in my friend's car, signing myself up for college at my alma mater, South Carolina State University. I knew then that, I had to do something different because I was born into poverty, but I didn't want to stay there. Literally, my mother at the time did not have a vehicle to take me to go sign me up for college. I knew that I had to do something totally different. And in doing so, I went on to, get my Bachelor's of Science for Management and went on to the military. I wasn't clear on who I was because, like most people, they go to college, or some people, even when they come out of college, they don't know who they are. What's their identity? At that time, I knew I wanted to, go in the military and develop my professional self and also my leadership skills. But what I didn't understand is I still didn't have identity. From the course of me transitioning from the military to corporate, I realized that I needed to evolve. I still needed to grow. But more importantly, I needed more time freedom. And I literally made that decision to pivot from the military to corporate because I wanted more time freedom. And I wanted to see what was out there in the real world besides the military, coming right out of college as a young professional. So during that course of me being, as a corporate executive with $2 billion companies, I knew that there was still more. And again, I still didn't have my identity, but that wasn't what I was in search for. I continued to be in search for time freedom. So I left corporate and became a business owner full time. Now during that time, it was exciting because I knew, again, I wasn't fully aware of who I was and what my identity was. What was I created to do? So I came out and said I wanted to help people. I became a certified professional coach. And during that time of me helping people to do the same thing, to take the big leap into transition, I realized that a lot of people couldn't afford my services. It caused there to be a burden for me because it's like people aren't really financially secure. People don't have peace of mind. What could I do? How could I make a difference for that? In less than 90 days, I put on a major event where quite a few hundred people came out. In that defining moment, I knew that this was what people needed. After the event, so many people walked up to me and they were so grateful and so appreciative of the event. It led me to believe that this is where my calling was. This is my identity. This is what I need to do. I need to reach back and help people with their finances. Because while I was able to reach graduate level with my degree, I didn't understand how money worked. And that's why I do what I do today. I said I have to teach the next generation on how to position their money so that they can take care of their older self. And that's where my passion came from. Literally a little over 4 years ago, I lost my two closest friends. I was devastated. Both died from the flu at the time, and they had never really lived. And I said, people have got to be able to live. You can't work your whole life and then expire. Have the opportunity to have peace of mind, to be able to position their money so that they can take care of their older self with passive, tax-free income. That's what I do today. That's how I help people. I help everyone to retire before they expire. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. It is Memorial Day weekend, and I'm here to just give you some quick nuggets and get out the way so I can start my weekend. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to get to the beach this weekend and some sun and some fun. How about that? What do you have going on this weekend? All right, so I want to just pop right in here and talk about 4 strategies to keep you from running out of money. Now, you all often hear me talk about the 4 quadrants written by the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote that book. He talks about how most people are on the wrong side of money. And that's 95% of people. And they're on the left side of money. But they need to move to the right side of money. And the right side of money is where the 5 percentiles are, right? 5% of people has most of the wealth, okay? And who are they? They are business owners and investors. simply put. And so how could you create a maybe business that's going to allow you to make money while you're sleeping? What could you do? Rather that's digital, online, it's thousands and thousands of different creative ideas and businesses that has been started. What business are you going to start? What problem were you created to solve in the earth? Because we all were created for something. I get it. You probably is ecstatic, where you are on your job. You're happy. You don't want to do anything else. You're complacent. You are comfortable, all of that. But unfortunately, unless you do something different, okay, you can't expect a different result doing the same thing that you've been doing. So if you feel like your money is tight, things are challenged, you got to be willing to do the next level. I get clients, they don't like to hear me say that, but unless you find a way to keep your money, which is ideally through itemizations, right? Write-offs, deductions. And why does the government, the IRS, favor, okay, business owners and investors? They are creating opportunities in the economy. They are stimulating the economy. They are hiring people so that they're no longer on the streets and, poor. Some people are sleeping under bridges. People are sleeping in the woods, homeless. And so business owners are able to create jobs, employment. And so they reward them for that. And they reward them with itemizations and deductions. And so you need to figure out, what is it that you can do well or like to do or is passionate about doing or do with ease that other people find hard to do? What problem are you solving? You know what I mean? Figure those things out. You got to sit with yourself, because finances and being financial and having that money strategy is spiritual before it is ever manifested in the physical. Be clear about it. So sit time with yourself, your maker, figure out why you're here and go after it. Listen, you ever heard it say, go hard in the paint? Go hard in the paint, because there is so much more for you to do that you don't probably even have an idea of, because you haven't really sat with yourself. You haven't sat long enough with yourself. You're too busy probably with lifing. But it's more to life than you allowing life to just life. When you get busy, trust me, how do I know? I remember being in a corporate and I remember being so frustrated and making double six figures. And I was like, it gotta be more to life than this. I have got to figure a way to have a more fulfilled life, because it's more to life than making a lot of money. It's more to life than having a big old house and driving a nice car. It's more to life. How do you create a more fulfilling life? You move from success to significance. You move from income to impact. Income to income, impact, and influence. You see how that works? So you don't have to trade money for impact or influence. You can have all at the same time. Let's be clear. Speakers do it all day. They have impact, influence, and income because they go out and they speak. So I want you to figure a way to create what God has created you to be. Because people say, well, why did God create us? God was the inevitable creator. And I apologize if you're offended. I'm a believer all day. I can't denounce my faith. But I do believe that we were created to create, created to worship, all those different types of things. You are not just here just to be here. You are not a mistake. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And so, and you doing that and being that, how are you going to maximize the effectiveness of who you are and what you were created to do? How is the next generation going to learn about what you've done? What legacy are you leaving behind? Right? And so you got to start taking inventory of our existence. But in doing so, you will find the money. Because when you start figuring out who you are and the vision and the mission that God has for your life, and you begin to go hard in the paint, you're really going to have a more exciting and fulfilling life that you're going to be. Listen, you won't need an alarm clock. You won't need coffee. Okay. You will be so vibrant and so full of what it is that you need to accomplish for the day and the next day and for the month and for the quarter and for the year. Life will go by even faster because you have so much that you know you got to get done. It seems like your work is never done, because the more you grow, the more you know, the more you grow, the more you're stretched to do more, stretched to become more. I remember when I moved to Baltimore, I said, God really brought me here to be more. You know what I mean? I was kind of I wanted to move away, but then I had like a bittersweet feeling because I was like, but I'm leaving my church, but I gotta go. You know what I mean? But God has a way of disrupting and getting you to a place where you can become that business owner that I believe He created people to be, business owners. Why? Because He wants us to have time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. You know what I mean? Spiritual freedom. Can you talk about God on your job like you want to? I can. So I'm just saying, so God wants you to be free. And my one word this year is freedom. And in being free, I'm just excited to know that I feel like I'm right where God would have me to be in my journey of life. So number one, become free and create money out of who God has created you to be. That's the number one way that you can keep from running out of money. When you do for somebody else, what you make happen for somebody else by becoming a business owner and helping other people, God will make happen for you. I promise you, as long as my name is Shateka, on everything that I have, on everything that I know, I promise you, you'll be so glad you did. You can't do it murmuring and complaining. You got to do it knowing that God has called you to do it, that you are anointed to do what it is that God has called you to do, to be a business owner, to make a difference and an impact in the earth. So that's the number one thing. Everything else is like quick stuff, right? Number two, I would say is, listen, you already spending money on bills, but your life can't be circled around bills. So if you're going to pay bills, why don't you pay your bills through a permanent cash value policy? I ain't trying to sell you. You can go anywhere to do this, okay? They better be knowing what they're doing when they're structuring your policy, though. But funnel all of your money through a policy and watch how you pay off your bills. You can have a structure to have all your bills. I don't care how much bills you have. You can pay them all off in 7 to 9 years just by how you funnel the money through a permanent cash value. Now, what do I mean by that? You're putting the money in the permanent cash value policy. You're going right back and taking it out after a certain amount of time and now paying your bill off with the money that is made for you while you were sleeping. How many of you like sleep money? Do you like sleep money? I love sleep money. I love money making money for me while I am sleeping. And that's what happens with these permanent cash value policies, especially the ones that are producing well, that has really good structure, and that cash value is working for you. Okay. If your money's not working harder for you than you're working for it, there's a problem, and you will always be working for money all the days of your life, per Warren Buffett, the billionaire himself. Okay. Number three, I did this when I realized that, my gosh, you mean to tell me this is why the banks want me to have a certain balance in my bank account? You mean to tell me this is why I got to have money in the bank, and if I go below a certain point or something, there's a penalty or whatever? You mean to tell me the banks are taking my money and they are multiplying it 16, 20 times while I'm sleeping between midnight and 5 a.m.? You mean to tell me? Listen, when I learned that they were multiplying my money, I said, I know I can do the same thing the banks are doing. Now, I know I can learn this skill. And so I taught myself the skill of trading. Now, I will tell you, the reason why I'm not continuing to trade is because God had a bigger plan and purpose for my life than trading, okay? When I say that, I mean that because He has so much more for me. Speaking, writing books, a lot of different things. And so trading takes a lot of time. So if you have the time, if you're someone that's on a job, why not learn the skill of trading? If you're not doing anything on your job and you're just twiddling your thumbs, that literally can be a second stream of income for you right then and there. You'll never run out of money because your money be making money for you while you sleep. I don't encourage you to go and take your real money for at least the first 8 months. At least go learn for about 8 months. Like I have learned of a young lady who literally waited 8 months before she started putting her money into the economy, into the trading system. And she took $40 and flipped it into 1.6 million. Now that's not my story. I did make some money, but everyone has their own fate and has their own skill of that. You know what I mean? I was good. I was a teacher. I had a team. All that. I was deep into it. Okay. But it just took up so much time. And God kept showing me how it was getting in the way of Him. And anything that you place before the will of God is an idol. Tiffany Montgomery. And so I learned back then, that trading cannot be my idol. Okay. But anything, you need to do it in moderation, right? That's anything. Eating things, you got to eat it in moderation. You got to spend in moderation. You got to have habits in moderation, right? So anyways, that is another way that you can never run out of money, by making sure that you do maybe a long-term play where the money is making money for you over a day, a week, a month. You got different types of plays that you can do with trades. And the trades can literally be going continuously and just continuing to rack up money. You can take withdrawals from that. That's another whole skill set. I love trading. I just don't have the time that I used to have when I was learning the skill. And so number 4, my final one is, in our community, I don't know about your community, but credit cards are bad, right? Like, debt is bad, right? And if you are Dave Ramsey and these other people, you follow these people, you know what? You got to know how to make the debt work for you. If you know how to make the debt work for you, it's really not bad. Here's what follow me now. You can take credit cards and actually turn it into a stream of income, to a way of being able to travel for free. A lot of different perks you can use with credit cards. Y'all know where I'm going with this. I mean, you got to spend the money anyway. Why not just pay with a credit card, pay the credit card right back off, make the points, which turn into cash, which can be another whole stream of income because you're spending the money anyway. Simply put, right? Get the best credit cards, the ones that have, the 3% and 5%, all these different, growth rates because of your credit, your good credit. As long as you have the discipline to pay right back off and you just take the cash out of the rewards points out of it, the travel, all that, you have just created yourself another stream of income, literally by just using the same money that you've already been using to pay your bills off. They didn't teach us that growing up. They didn't teach me that in high school. Okay. I had to learn that years after even becoming an advisor. Even when I became an advisor, I didn't know that. I wasn't doing that, I should say. I wasn't doing it because I did know that, because my business was making money for me. My previous business, which was with real estate investing. I purchased a half dozen properties as I was in corporate as a buy and hold. I was a multidimensional investor, trading, real estate. I did stocks. I did it all. None of it licensed, but I taught myself. I was self-taught at the time. And so one thing I like to tell people, besides taxes being your biggest debt or your biggest way of not keeping money, your second one is ignorance. So you should have a hunger for learning how money works and how to position your finances so that you can win in wealth. If you don't have a concept of how money works and you're just making all this money like I was and didn't really have, the best thing I did was know how to invest. At least I did that. But I didn't understand the whole tax part, because I literally paid people's salary, literally a six-figure salary. Okay, I had to pay 50% of what I made, which was $100,000 in taxes for 5 years. I remember that. And I didn't know better. So I was too busy working to figure out how money worked, right? Being the boss, you know what I mean? But I want to encourage you today. I'm well over my time. My goal is to be on here for 7 minutes and tell you all of this in quick 7 minutes. But, sometimes we get steered. I want you to definitely continue to follow and do what it is that you do to help us to get the word out about what we have going on. We are going to be doing a lot of amazing things. I definitely want you to follow Shateka.com. We want you to follow that because I'm going to be showing you what we're coming out with. I have a project that I'm working on that's coming out on June the 8th. And so I need you to be following Shateka.com. I need you to go ahead and get your complimentary retirement planning guide by going to Shateka.com so that you can enter our ecosystem, our community. If you didn't already know, we do have a VIP community. It's on WhatsApp, and we want to make sure you're a part of that. So definitely do that. And so we will be communicating to you what it is that we have going on. So if you want to be a part of our masterclass, certainly go to 678-736-6496. Type the word masterclass so we can send you the link. We try to do those as much as we can on Wednesdays. And so, and throughout the week when necessary, we will definitely be doing that. But we need to know, what's the demand for that as well. So definitely text that number. That way you can start receiving our text. We barely send out text. We only send out a text to remind you, I should say in the future, because we haven't sent out any text. We will be in the future sending out text to remind you when we're going live and those types of things. But thank you so much for joining us. We will be right back here on next week, Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. Our next topic. If you go into our broadcast, you'll be able to see all of our schedule, what we have upcoming. So you can start clicking on notify me so you can start getting the notifications when we go live, because we have everything set up for the next few weeks. And June is actually Annuity Awareness Month. So I will be speaking a lot about annuities next month because it's Annuity Awareness Month, and you need to be aware around how annuities work, because it is one of the reasons why, if people would have had them when they won the lottery or when they made it big in football or sports or entertainment, they wouldn't have lost their money because they would have designed something that's going to last them for their lifetime, because it's money that you can't outlive when you have an annuity. So we're going to educate you on how to properly, the annuity mistakes people make, all that type of stuff. So definitely want you to go ahead and lock in. If you're not a part of this community, the YouTube community, definitely subscribe, comment, like, share. I promise you, you're only sowing into good ground by doing what you're doing to share this information, because people do need it. God bless you. Have an amazing and favorable weekend, and go win in wealth.